Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audio books and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
I'm your hostess with a mostess, Nicole Borghi, and I'm here with some juicy tidbits on solutions that will be provided to your pain points with online business. And we all got a few problems, but let's work with the advent of solutions, provide solutions your business needs, your online needs, and maybe some things you didn't know you needed. And here today, I have my guest, Lois. She's here with me today, and she is got some awesome tips going on. And Lois, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate you having me here. I am a longtime entrepreneur. I actually started my own business in high school, in which case came about unexpectedly. I took a cake decorating club. After I did that, my mom volunteered me to do a wedding cake for a family friend. And then all of a sudden I was in the business of doing cakes. Then my goal for some reason was I was in Indiana and I was going to move to Georgia. And now I don't know why Georgia, it's just that's what came up in my head. And I was going to open up a full service wedding bridal salon with cakes and flowers and photography. And although I was minoring in photography in college, I didn't have the experience of doing a wedding. So I was looking for a photographer that I could work with just the summer before my senior year. And I found a guy who owned a studio, and he really was impressed with how much I knew about photography. And I quickly picked up all the ways of handling people and the poses and all that. After a couple months, he actually bought me a camera equipment setup so that I was able to photograph weddings. Lo and behold, months after that, I married the guy. So, he claims that I never paid off my photography equipment, but trust me, I've paid it several times over. So we had a very successful photography studio, one in the top 10% of the country, and very busy with weddings and seniors and family photographs and a lot of kid photography. And we were doing well. We're getting a little burned out and was ready to really slow things down because it was just a lot of work. And that's about the time digital came around. So we had a little bit of a natural slowdown. And then my husband, who's a little bit older than I, decided that he was going to retire or semi-retire. But I was still working, just couldn't really give up what I was doing. My part in the studio was the marketing. So I was there ready to put together the first website for the photography studio. We were one of the first studios to do email marketing. And so we always led the marketing part in the photography business because I just love learning and love doing the internet stuff. And so once he decided to semi-retire, I just kept doing the same thing I was doing for the studio for other businesses. And so here we are.
I do love that story. Thanks for sharing it. I have heard that before. And I do like how it's just neat how that works, right? What a great partnership all the way through that you were able to find. And you started with cake. You can't really, can you go wrong with cake? I don't know. What a yummy experience. Yes. And the fact that you took that and just ran with, here's what I know, here's what I like, and here's what I enjoy. And it just speaks volumes of when you listen to your intuition or your gut or whatever side you're coming from on that thought to say, I'm going to move forward with this and keep on going. And I'm sure you definitely paid that back. Absolutely. So let's start here. What do you offer so the audience can understand where they're going to go in this journey and they can really definitely stick to the story and follow it on the Pain Point podcast, we always offer solutions virtually for business. And you have a lot for our audience, a lot of offerings and some great knowledge. And they will be able to find you at the Tech Talk Summit, Hacking the Matrix, this March 12th and 13th. And what kind of solution as a whole do you offer?
We do a lot of SEO, but I think probably the main thing that I have had a pain point with is when I was in elementary school, the teachers were always talking about, oh, computers are coming out and they'll save us so much time and we'll have shorter work days and shorter work weeks. When I got my first computer, I remember that I spent so much time just trying to figure out how it worked. So it did not save me any time. And then after that, once I understood how it worked, then I suddenly came up with so many more ideas on what to do with it. So I still was not cutting my hours shorter or saving myself time. But then with AI coming around, this is the first time that I really see that we can actually cut our work hours down and save time and spend more time with things that are important to us, like our family or taking vacations or just relaxing and enjoying life. So I feel that AI is a new horizon to us to help us really cut down some hours on our work.
Oh, I love that answer. It's just, it's the importance of what's coming forward. And that's where we're going with the summit is the idea of we need to have the know-how and some knowledge that can be applied. And that's where this podcast came in the first place was there's so much information out there and there's just way, way too much. And I'm an information person. I was a records technician at the police department. I like data. I'm one of those, I want to know what's going on. I want to see, I want to read the juicy stories and what a better story to read, right? That nobody else really gets is you get this really good story like that when the biography channel, I know I'm dating myself, came out and there was always a little documentary of where people came from and what their life was about and knowing that. And but today there's just so much data, it's overwhelming. And if you're having a moment, you don't really know how to sift through it. And you end up in a doom scroll and you're just like, okay, I've lost my purpose of this research. There's so much video, there's so much audio, there's so much information. It's so overwhelming. And finding someone like yourself that can share with people how to navigate that and simplify the life. That's what this is supposed to do. It's supposed to make life easy. It's not supposed to take over. The robots aren't taking over the world. We're really finding a way to say, hey, what do we do with this? How do I navigate? What's the blueprint going forward on the navigation of where tech is going? You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the super geek or Sheldon from The Big Bang, because that he's got a little bit too much knowledge there. And it's hard to have a conversation. It's overwhelming. When your monkey mind starts going all over the place, then you start to get into doubt or you fully shut down. And I find more people just shut down. It's not fear of going forward. It's more of, what do I do next? I'm lost. I'm lost in a sea. It's like your GPS just spinning you around and around. When you lose connection, you're like, why am I making a U-turn 6 times? Going in circles. I'm almost out of my gas here. So when people come to you and they're like, hey, I want to find more time, even if you pay someone a service like yourself, you're actually saving more money in the long run because there's less you have to do. You're making your life easier. It's less hectic. And spending time with the people you love or you want to spend time with, whether that's sitting on the couch or going out with your family, that's up to you what you're doing with it. But it eases our mind and our business burdens. And going forward in the world, the navigation on that is to stop the overwhelm and to navigate it and find out, hey, going forward with the business, a lot of people have lost money because they've spent so much on tools and trickeration, more or less, of sold a bag of goods. now they can't do anything or they're losing their business. And I've heard that from a few clients. Hey, I can't pay any of the coaching, or I can't do the consulting, or I don't know what to do next with my business. What would you tell people versus, hey, there's so much free stuff, or hey, this guy over here offers this, that maybe you're the better person for the job, not just because you have the experience, but going forward and you're easy to talk to. When people are saying, hey, what do I need this kind of digital space for, or even the SEO and the digital marketing? How does that help me?
I think that probably from the beginning, I would say you need to list down like all the things that you're doing. What are your responsibilities as a solopreneur? And what areas are taking up too much time that you should probably either get assistance with? So I feel that there are different things that, especially like one of the most popular ones are Chat GPT. I also use Perplexity. And then what are some things that you can put into a Chat GPT that would give you content that would save you time? Can Chat GPT help you with a business plan or with email marketing or with scripts for a presentation or scripts for a video? What are you spending too much time on that you could use something of that nature to condense some of that time and make it easier? So just starting with a simple tool like ChatGPT is a great place to start. And then the great thing about ChatGPT is if you do it correctly, and what I usually recommend is pretend like it's a new employee. So you're going to describe your business, your selling process, your business history. And then once you get everything that you think that you want a new employee to know, ask it, do you have any questions? And it usually does come up with like somewhere in the range of 8 to 12 questions to clarify things. And once that chat GPT understands your business, then it can really be like having an assistant there to just brainstorm with you and to give you suggestions. But the other thing is that ChatGPT continues to learn. So if it gives you like an email, you have it write out an email for you, then you read it. Of course, always read whatever you get out of a AI service. Read it over, and then whatever changes you make, put it back in. So say, hey, I liked your letter, but I rewrote it. Here's what I put in. And then it will learn more about your voice and how you want things written. And it's just a great tool just to brainstorm with, or just to give us some of those little tasks that maybe you would spend 30 or 40 minutes writing an email, and you can knock that out with a ChatGPT in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a great way to really get into there and to hone into your focus and give you ideas that you can take to someone and say, "Hey, I need a little more help. I've got a good idea. I'm running with this, but you really need a person or a consultant to give you a little bit of a workshop through those ideas of what's coming out, because you do need somebody to say, "Hey, you forgot to take out the 'hope you're having a nice day.'"
Right now, that's the first thing I always program in it. Do not start any of my information with hope you're having a nice day.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you did ChatGPT." And I'll tell people in LinkedIn when if they talk to me, "Hope you're having a good day. I just wanted to reach out to you."
I was like,
No, because you
mhm.
don't know me. "Hey, how's it going?" Because it's when you're DMing somebody, it's a little small message. You want to get someone's attention, but you want to say, "Hey, how's it going? I got something. Maybe you're interested, or maybe we should just get on the phone, have a conversation on a Zoom." That's okay to do. It's absolutely okay, because if you're hitting up people, they know that you're selling them if you don't know them, unless you
Mhm.
just want to, hey, want to exchange some ideas with you, or want to collaborate and speak to you. There's real simple ways to talk to people and hey, what's going on. And I think we have to remember that human component. Do you talk like that? What are you doing when you're out there? And that's where someone like Lois comes in to say, hey, by the way, hey, here's a good idea, or here's what maybe not to do or what to do when we're navigating these systems. Everybody's using it. But if you remember social media, and thank goodness I wasn't 16 when it came out, because there'd be a lot of pictures of me that I don't want anybody to know about. It's to say we need people to help us just navigate those large language models and navigate what we're doing, kind of critically say, hey, are you using this truly in your best interest? It can be a free thing to do, but free can get you in a lot of trouble, not just losing money, but that also maybe you shouldn't have posted this way, or maybe you shouldn't have said something, or maybe like with digital marketing, is it in your voice? And that's something you mentioned before. It's so great to say, hey, are you talking to your audience? But how are you talking to your audience? And does it sound like you? I'm a very straightforward person. So I'm like, if an email comes from me for anything and says, hope you're having a nice day. Gee golly gosh, how are you? It's been so and it goes on and on. That's probably not coming from me. So you would have to stop and think. My audience would be like, okay, you probably lost it, or you've gone way down the rabbit hole of Grok and is unhinged or something. You don't want to do that either, right? Because Grok's got a few personalities going on there. She's a little bizarre now, but it can be dangerous, it can be detrimental, or it could just totally not represent you. When you're talking to clients and you're like, maybe have you had those conversations with people like, hey, maybe this is not a great sticking point from you and it can cause the pain down the road. Let's get to the solution and really go back with that.
Yeah, I speak often with clients as far as helping them to get their AIs into their voice because that, like you said, that is so important that people are going to get to know you. Most of our marketing now is built on relationships, and that takes a lot of time. And if you're not using your AI to help you build those relationships, then it's going to take you even more time. Part of the concept here with the AI is to simplify things and to make things faster, if you will.
Oh, yeah, and it can make it too fast too, right? Are you going way off that deep end? But I think it's important. And going back to where you started with customer service, making food for someone is such a loving, heartfelt service to share someone a piece of cake or a meal or something. There's something communicative and loving about food and the energy that you're putting in the food when you're baking or cooking, and you're sharing that with friends, families, loved ones, people in your neighborhood. You do want them to come back, so you don't want them to go out with a stomachache or anything, but you want to share the love and make sure that it's right so they return. And there's something so soul catching with photography, I think. There's
Mm.
just an essence certain people get that photograph. I have an issue with selfies just because I'm just not a photographer. Taking pictures of other people, I'm not a photographer. I'm not going to catch a good point of your soul. So I think there's some type of connection visually or where you get this essence, and it's such a gift. And to go to that space to say, you have a customer relationship that you're building and communicating, and there's more solutions based, and there's more of you that there's captured when you don't just use AI. And Michio Kaku even came out, and gosh, I have to find that quote again, but he's so great to say that we want when AI and all of this technology increases over the years, and this is probably 10 years ago that he said it, we're going to have to be creative. How has AI fueled your creativity? You're still online even after you said your husband was going into retirement. There's obviously something that fuels you with this.
I think for me, it's because I just love learning. It's just really, it really fills my mentality of to continue learning. Okay, what's Google changing this month? Or what is a new AI thing that is out now that I could use to help enhance a client's visibility? And I just really love, I really absorb into the learning process of all that's available with online marketing, SEO, and AI. So, I mean, just the concepts of, say, video. It used to take me like 3 or 4 hours just to do like a Zoom video like this, then edit it, and then do the intro and the outro, and then get it online and then creating the content and the description and all the SEO things. Well, now I have a thread on my chat that knows all the things. So I need 3 optimized titles so I can choose one. I need a description, I need tags, I need all of these things. And so it already knows that I want 3 social media posts. So it already knows what I want. So I'll start out and say, all right, do you need me to review what we're going to do? And it'll say yes or no. And so then I review the 5 things I'm going to want. And then I will ask it to give me 6 points on this video. Okay, there's 6 points. So it'll give me 6 points. I'll take those 6 points into a video program, and I might do the intro and then have the video program do the middle, and then I'll do the outro, and then put all the transcript into AI. And a project that used to take me like 4 hours now takes me like 20 minutes. So it's just, there's another step there where it's giving quality information. It's giving great points that people are actually searching for, but yet it's saving me so much time getting a video produced and ready for YouTube.
Oh, yeah, it does. It's great. I started to use Descript, and I
Mhm.
love being able to edit through the text because I'm a reader. I like to listen, and I'll listen to the video and then I'll edit and I read along and I actually look at that, and I can do it that way or throw, hey, I want some clips, but you mentioned that before, do listen and read before you publish it.
Mhm. Yes.
Because oopsie, the great thing I will say about there being so much content out there is that
Mm.
people will nearly forget and definitely forgive because they've oopsies made that mistake before. So don't worry about, oh, hey, I forgot to put a link in my newsletter. Oopsies, I didn't attach it to the picture, but next time I will. And people will let you know, hey, by the way, I tried clicking here, I didn't get it. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm appreciative. Or, hey, I unsubscribed. Maybe there's too many emails. Okay. A note taken. You're one of 1,500. So it's okay if one person is no. I want to hear from you to say, hey, maybe I have to address you or reach out to you in a different way. That's okay, because if you're a good enough client or good enough connection, I'll do that and I can redirect that. But with this out there, and I was listening to Alex Hermosi the other day, and look, the video content that's coming out, just start to put the content out. Start to post it, start to put it out there. Stop with a call to action, stop with the sales, because he was showing the other day that without his call to action, but he's got millions of people. He said he was getting more buys by just sharing some tips and some information on what's going on. And so breaking that down, life has gotten easier. And I think for that, it's easier to communicate because we're coming back to a point in time where we can actually have thoughtful, critical conversations and be able to talk and get to the point. And that's why I like to start the podcast with what's the pain point, what's the solution. So when the audience listens, they know where they're going to go. It's not a surprise ride. There's no trickeration here. There's no pranking. I'm trying to get a gotcha moment. It's just, hey, this is where we're going today. So your mind can say, oh, okay, I know what I'm listening for, because I like to read the highlights or do some speed reading and go for the big parts. Oh, maybe I need to read this again. Are you distracted? Do you know what's going on? Do you know what you need to get? And that way you can highlight in your brain where you're going with the conversation is going. And so people know to listen. I think that kind of helps us more as tech comes out here, and being able to talk to people in tech. These conversations are just have become so wonderful to say, hey, we're being able to be more engaged, because tech people of the 80s, when I was in Silicon Valley, spoke programs. They spoke in ones and zeros. So there were just less personality. As a little whole language of into itself. So coming to this place where tech can help people like coaches, authors, speakers have a relatability and the ability to communicate worldwide, we wouldn't have this connection. Where would we be if we still had that brick phone? Nobody's making phone
One of
calls
those
anymore,
too.
right? I
Yeah,
remember
I
seeing
had one
those
of
big
those
things
too.
in the mail. Yeah, the big fax machine, right? You're like, "Oh my gosh, that
Mhm.
7-foot table where we actually had to pick up a phone." People, yes, we had phones, we had to physically pick up and dial. It didn't do it for us. But it's a good world to know, and people like yourself who educate others to say, "This is what's going on in the tech space, and this is how we use it, but this is how you can use it." And you have a great talk that you're bringing for people. What would you hope for you? What are you looking for in the future going forward for people? What would you like to see?
I think that people need to understand more, like you said, that people are looking for answers to questions. I was reading a book today and it said that more people are watching YouTube videos than Netflix. People are searching for answers to questions and they want more information. They want to know how to do things or the history of something or why this city is wonderful. There's just so many ways that you incorporate that information into your videos that will entice people. And there again, that's where you're building that relationship. If somebody is watching video after video on your particular channel because you're giving information, like if I was going to buy a house in Raleigh, I might be searching what's the great things about Raleigh, which side of Raleigh's town, which side of the city is the best, what's the bad points about it. So there's just so many different things that once you decide that this is your service, just looking and seeing what's all the information that I could give to somebody to build that relationship so that they trust me because I'm just giving out lots and lots of information. So I think we really need to focus on the fact that people are wanting relationship and they're searching for information.
Yes, absolutely. The information and information that's pertinent to them and not just what we think and feel they need to know. Hey, would you like more information? So there's where but maybe some surveys if you're connected to your audience because it's hard sometimes when you're first in business. Oh, I should do a survey. What questions should I ask? What should I survey them about? Is the sky blue? That's a question, right? So I'm more of a critical person sometimes when I'm starting something. And I think that the information just helps us, the guided information and the way to apply the knowledge, like perhaps maybe have you tried this or perhaps you should go here. And I think the how has become more important now that we are no longer paying for the service of maybe a social media company, a large social media company. We can have smaller one-to-one, business-to-business, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people deal with the smaller businesses instead of, hey, you got to go pay for $10,000 over here or have this branding or throw this face you need to have a Facebook ad for what? Who I know my people, but it's easier one to one, right?
Mm.
Who do you talk to? Who are your people? Who are you networking? What is that space is? And if you talk to those people while you're networking, you have a great way to connect with people and start to ask questions. And then instead of getting frustrated, what would you like to know? How would you like to know? Maybe I can't collaborate with you. What's your clientele? What made you get on the call with me? Because it wasn't me. I didn't twist your arm, but you booked with me. So I'm a curious person. What made you book with me? What was it that we had a conversation with 2 weeks ago, that got you to book with me? Or what would you like to know? Or who's your clientele? Or how can we work together? So it's those questions you're fishing a little bit in the conversation if you get on the phone with someone and you have a 2-minute conversation and they pitch slapped you with their business and they wanna get off the call and you're like, "Wait a second. There was something here originally, so maybe we should go a little deeper. How are you? Maybe how's the weather? Whatever you can do to search with somebody to have some type of negotiated conversation on how to work with one another and have a back and forth. And I think that brings us back to the community and the connection. And it's so valuable to start to understand that than hopping on to a call with someone or trying to sell them your products to say, hey, how can I help you? Or how can we work together? Maybe how can we serve each other? Or absolutely being able to say, you know what? I have enough knowledge to say that I really cannot use that product or service right now. Thank you for getting on the call with me. It's okay to have boundaries. And that's a very important thing. So you've been a successful person in business. How have you found embracing in the technology that has helped you navigate through the years of so many changes and so quick?
Oh, yeah, very fast changes. I think back to the first, like, courses that I took on how to rank on Google, and it was just like, "Oh, wow." Just hiding keywords in your first page and your content and things like that was actually the strategy, and now all of that is completely different and everything. You know what? And even now, Google is a little bit concerned because people are actually using ChatGPT for a search engine. And I did that the other day. I was like, "Oh, what's the zip code for this city?" And I was on chat, so I said, "Hey, what's the zip code for this?" And it was right there. I think that Google, because of the way that their thought process is and everything, they've let us down on what we're searching for. My husband gets so frustrated because he'll search for something and then he'll get a whole page of something that's not what he's looking for. And so I think people are getting a little frustrated with some of the searches and they're looking for other ways to find their answers. And I think that makes us as business owners, we have to rotate again. We're making some more adjustments. How can we do SEO on AI chats? That's a whole new discussion now with the tech people out there. It's like, all right, now we've got to train the chats to know that in our area, this coffee shop is going to be the best one. So how do you train the chats to do that? And the technology is just changing constantly. You just have to be flexible and move with it.
I like that you said that because I've been having other conversations with people to say, hey, I just get on to chat. And the reason is, hey, Google, you're acting like the ex girlfriend right now because you drew a line in the sand and you said no, that you would absolutely positively not go there any longer. And you decided now that you broke up with the ex-boyfriend and now you want him back because you see him with someone else. So the jealousy has come back. Google did it to themselves. They used to have this wonderful search of you put it in and there's 1,000,001,000,000,000,000 searches and you can skip around page to page and find what you wanted. And then that algorithm would come up and it would start to populate your searches of what you're looking for. And you would get the scary history too. Oopsie, what I look
Mm.
at? Let's erase that. But all of a sudden, I went there the other day and got 3 things. Those 3 things, only 3 choices of nothing that had anything to do with what I wanted at all. And it was a very simple search, like someone's name. It was an actor's name, and it wasn't that person at all. Because I like to watch old movies. I was watching some old 70s movies, like Burt Reynolds or some. I went down that rabbit hole. It was hilarious. And I'm watching that. It was a character in there. I think it was Jerry Reed and somebody else. And I looked this up. I thought that it had nothing to do with that actor. And I'm like, wait, what is really going on here that you've changed this yourself? You decided to make this decision for me, for everyone else. And then when they left you, because you thought that you could DARPA still tell us where to go, what to do, and how to do it, forgetting that there was the new model, the new girlfriend down the road that would be the nicer girlfriend, and they would have a happy relationship, and you didn't like that now. You didn't realize you had competition, or you did and you just didn't care because you're the great Google. So moving into chat, search things, it's not always correct. It's worth try. And I know a lot of people are now putting their books and their PDFs and they're helping populate the chat going forward. So it will have this information, at least on them. It'll have more of that information and it will start having a different type of information. And here's to all the healers, coaches, and artists out there. Put your good stuff in there. Put a few good things in there. People are going to take your stuff anyway. I'm sorry, but it's out there. And now that it's out on the internet, it's all metadata. It's all there now. So you might as well put the good stuff out there and do your own Wikipedia and go in there and change your bio or whatever it is and have that. What say you on the thought of adding to the chats and putting out there so we can help put the wheel in the right direction here?
Actually, I have one of my mentors is working on a tool right now for that purpose to educate chat about particular, like you could put all the information about your business in the, and it will feed it to the AI. Because it's a different language that AI is understanding. And it's just a different way of writing the questions and giving the details. Just like we the thought was that schema was going to be the main language that the AIs would be reading, but they're more of a question answer process. So it's more of the way that we're going to be writing and the content for AI to learn that process. So it's a whole new ball game right now and something that we're learning more and more about.
I think it's very interesting because it gives us back a bit of control here and creative direction and say. So people chat is asking for your information. And if you want chat to find you and to suggest you, perhaps maybe you should get in its ear and go, hey, by the way, I'm really amazing and awesome. I'm really cool. Here you go. I wrote this really great story and have fun with it. And when you're talking to chat, I like it to have a little bit more sense of humor. So maybe more of it's having a sense of humor. And when I listen to Elon and Grok, he's got this unhinged mode and maybe it's a little crazy, but it's fun. And it has a comedic mode because he wants people to have fun and laugh. And I think that's why part of why he's so successful is he likes to laugh and he likes to talk to people. He's a little overwhelming, but he's a super genius and he's got a bazillion dollars. So you can't argue with that sense. But maybe if we start to laugh and start to get that creative flow going, because laughter is its best medicine. And if you can't laugh at yourself, somebody else will absolutely laugh at you. Wouldn't you laugh rather than laugh with you? So I think it's a bit fun. Maybe we can get a little comedy back in our life because you can get so logical. And I have people tell me, okay, you're way over your head. Like I'll go, it's like a guiding or a download. I start talking about it and go, oh yeah, over here and over there and 101010. And they're like, I just asked you, can you flip the switch? Okay. And I did. And you start to talk and you go into this kind of those old scientists, those mad scientists. Hey, I'm waiting. But I think that's great that we have the ability to change the world and we have this chance, we have this time where we can make these changes going forward on what can happen and how it can happen if we're having these conversations on how to apply the knowledge or have you tried this and steer things or your business even in your videos or social media in a little bit different direction without being so stressful. The great thing about this is when you're doing this, you can schedule it,
Mhm.
and then you can see where people are going. You said forget that. You to reply. Don't forget to comment with people. Oh, you get people to come back to you and to market on your page, but really to develop that connection. And it's just tech has eased our lives without the overwhelm. I just remember the microfiche and the MS-DOS and programming the program. And if you do this, though, the funny story is, I think it was Riz, oh gosh, I can't, Vic or something like that. He was talking about that, how AI, you can get on there. He's some software programmer, big angel investor in all these companies. And he was talking and yeah, I could get on there the other day and I can tell the chat or whatever he was using, if it was ChatGPT, to program the software or to make a Pac-Man. And he was having fun with it and he was doing it. And he said, what he forgot was there's some things that it doesn't know on what to do next. Or if you do this and you start to create this, which is great, and you can sell it, but how are you going to fix it? If something breaks, how are you going to maintain that client? So you sold them on something, but what about on that everlasting connection that we have to tie this back to? Bringing that connection and that applied knowledge and catering in the long term of your business, what would you share with people?
I think that you've got to make sure you've got those blendings together as far as using your AI but also making sure that you keep that relationship, whether it's through your continuous communications with your emails or just scheduling the regular appointments with people or just making sure that you're staying with them and nurturing that relationship. It's the relationship that's going to be together, whether you're building that relationship because you're creating an AI video that talks there, says their name at the beginning of it or whatever. You can simplify the process, but you've got to keep the heart and the relationship always there. That's going to be the main thing that people are going to have to focus on as we move forward with the AI processes.
Oh, wow. Yes. Thank you so much for saying that. And it's been a great conversation. We are getting down to our last minutes here, and I want to leave you with the last word. And all your information will be down below this video, all the links. And folks, come to the summit and listen to Lois here because she's got some great information and it's a great conversation. So I look forward to having her speak at the summit. But go ahead and any last words.
Yeah, one of my mentors recently said, it's not your competition that's going to put you out of business. It's not keeping up with technology that's going to put you out of business. So make sure you know what technology works well for your business and helps you build your business and free up some time.
Oh, fantastic. No FOMO here, guys. No FOMO. Just remember what is going to be everlasting for your business. Thank you so much for being here and
Well,
being a guest on the Pain Point podcast.
thank you. It was just a pleasure to be here with you.